Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into the really fascinating world where artificial intelligence is meeting creative design. We'll be exploring how AI is becoming less of a replacement and, more of a creative amplifier, a really powerful collaborative partner that's helping designers just push the boundaries of aesthetic innovation. So let's just start with the basic question. When you think about design, what pops into your head? Is it just the physical shape of something? A chair, a car, maybe your phone? For a long time, that might have been the answer. But today, well, that's really only the beginning of the story. And here's the key thing. Modern design has evolved. It's become this progression. Yeah, it starts with form, but it moves so quickly into building meaning, the story that a product tells. Then it's about evoking a specific emotion, how it actually makes you feel. And ultimately, it's all about crafting a unique identity that really defines a brand. And that brings us right to our first big idea, moving way beyond just the shape. We're living in an age where the products we use are basically storytellers. They're communicating these complex ideas, brand narratives, and company values all through their design. Just take a look at the BYD Seagull EV here. This is so much more than just metal and wheels, right? Those sleek lines, that compact size, the bold color, it all screams efficiency, modernity, and a brand that's looking to the future. It's a fantastic example of how form is really just the gateway to much, much deeper ideas. So, if the goals of design have gotten so much more complex, how do we actually get there? This is where the process itself really comes under the microscope. So let's compare the old way of doing things with the new AI-assisted workflow. The traditional design process, well, it's very linear. You sketch an idea, you refine it, you model it. It's usually pretty slow. And because you're always fighting against time and budget, you can only really explore a handful of different versions. The AI-assisted workflow, though, it's generative. It is just an explosion of possibilities. And this right here visualizes that leap perfectly. On one side, you've got the designer's initial spark, that first idea just taking shape as a sketch. And on the other, you have a high-fidelity, photorealistic concept. AI tools can now bridge that gap with unbelievable speed, turning a rough concept into a polished vision in like a fraction of the time. So what does this powerful new workflow actually look like in practice? It's not some kind of mysterious black box. It's actually a very tangible and intuitive process that we can break down into a clear, repeatable loop. Really, it all boils down to these four key steps. First, the designer gives the creative direction with a prompt. Then, the AI generates a whole bunch of options. Next, and this is key, the designer uses their expertise to select the most promising direction. And finally, the designer brings it all home in the refine stage. Okay, let's look at that generate phase. A designer might prompt for something like a hairdryer. Instead of just one idea, the AI can spit out a whole spectrum of concepts. You've got retro, futuristic, minimalistic, biomorphic, all at the same time. This isn't about finding the one correct answer. It's about blowing the creative territory wide open and exploring these unexpected shapes you might never have even thought of. So after that explosion of options, we get to the crucial select phase. And this is where the human designer is absolutely 100% essential. The AI has given you the raw material, but it's the designer's judgment, their understanding of the user, the brand, and the market that lets them see which one of these concepts actually has real potential. And finally, we refine. The designer takes that chosen concept and adds all the necessary detail and nuance. They might add a stand, or tweak the button placement, or adjust the materials. They're making sure the design is actually manufacturable. This is where that cool creative idea gets grounded in real-world constraints, turning it from just a pretty picture into a viable product concept. This brings us to what might be the most important myth to bust about AI in design. It is not about replacing humans. It's about creating a powerful feedback loop where the human is always, always in control. So the takeaway is this. AI is a phenomenal engine for generating options, but it has no intent. It has no vision, no purpose. That all comes from the designer. The designer provides the why, and the AI helps explore the what. Let's see this in action. A very simple prompt, like design a minimalist lamp, gives you a perfectly fine but kind of generic result. It's clean, it follows the rules, but it doesn't really have a specific point of view. But now, watch what happens when the designer adds more intent. By adding the context for a minimalist cafe and the constraint using unique materials, the output is completely transformed. Suddenly, it has warmth, it has character, it has a story. It feels like it actually belongs somewhere specific. And for our last example, a super specific prompt gets you a super specific design. A lamp for a kid's bedroom, pastel colors, inspired by a cute T-Rex. And look at that, you get exactly what you asked for. This just brilliantly illustrates that strong, clear design intent, delivered through a well-crafted prompt, leads directly to a strong, targeted outcome. It's not magic, it's vision in, vision out. So, what does all this mean for the designer of the future? Is the job going away? No, absolutely not. It's evolving into something that's maybe even more strategic. The designer's role is just expanding. They're becoming prompt thinkers, really mastering the art of translating a creative vision into effective instructions. They're becoming system builders, creating the rules that generate consistent brand aesthetics across a whole family of products. And maybe most importantly, they're becoming aesthetic curators, using their expert eye to sift through all these options and pick out the designs that truly connect with people and have real meaning.
And that leaves us with this final thought. AI is a tool, a revolutionary tool for sure, but still just a tool. It doesn't have the vision or the empathy or the cultural understanding to design our future. That responsibility, it still rests with us. The future is going to be designed by creative people who learn how to wield these incredible new tools. So the real question isn't whether AI will replace designers, but rather, what kind of designers are we going to become in the age of AI?